Hello, welcome, beautiful, vibrant souls, to this week's Astrocast. This is going to be covering the week ahead, so this is going to be for October 17th through, I believe, the 23rd, 2022. Oh my gosh, excuse my yawn. Okay, there we go. So welcome back to all my old friends. Hello and welcome to all my new friends. I'm going to give a quick rundown of how astrocasting works for the unfamiliar, the uninitiated, our beautiful new babies joining us for the first time. I do want to kind of start this off with the caveat that this is going to be based on the 12 houses of the zodiac and their natural areas of rulership. However, some of the messages can play out differently for you just based on your personal astrology. So if you are looking for a personalized astrocast that is taking that into account, taking your own natal chart into account, please feel free to DM me for a custom reading and I will be happy to work out those details. So we have this lovely circular grid cut up into 12 little pizza slices here. And these, sorry if you can see the light flicker, by the way, it's very rainy and windy where I am. And I live in an old house, so very likely possibility here we could lose power. But, you know, that's all right. Yet we are still not powerless. Anyway, I'm being weird, but that's par for the course here. Anyway, cut up into 12 little pizza slices, and these represent 12 houses of the zodiac, their natural areas of rulership. And then, so what I do then is I reach into my little, thing here, my little jar here, and I have teeny little tarot cards. Like, look at this Three of Cups. They are having just the smallest, goodest time, and we are also happy for them. Oh my God, I love this. I love this shit. So I reach in blindly and then cast the cards out on the board and interpret the energies of the cards based on, interpret and apply the energies of the cards to the area of life that they fall under. So yeah, that's how astrocasting works. With that, I'm going to get into it before I have any more word vomit coming up here. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you've had a great week. I'm excited to see what we can all expect for the week ahead. See a lot of like light blue, light yellow. I feel like things are finally turning a corner here for a lot of people. Like there's a lot of like understanding where there wasn't before. All right, they're telling me to stop. There's the top. I'm like, where is it? I like to not look at them because I like to discover them with you. Okay, interesting. So, bordering the 4th and 5th house, if I could pick up the card, we have, the Three of Cups. So as you guys can see, where the bottom of the card, when it's facing inward or it's mostly facing inward, I count that as upright. When it's on its side like this is where the energy is in flux, and when the top of the card's facing inward, that would be pretty clearly reversed. This one's pretty tipped to the side, but it's still it's closer to upright than anything else. So I'm going to count this Two of Wands as upright, bordering the 11th and 12th house. We then have, the Queen of Wands right on her side here, bordering the 9th and 10th house. And then the Two of Cups, okay, and it's bordering the 8th and 9th house. This is very close to on its side, but it is still, I would say, more reversed than anything else. So I'm going to read it as such, but with the caveat that even though I'm going to say it's reversed, it was very close to on its side. So for some of you, when we get to these messages, these might still be in flux or up in the air. Sorry, my hands are really cold. I'm like trying to warm up my hands while I'm talking. Like I'm a little grabbers here. But yeah, so sorry, I was talking to a friend recently about little raccoon hands, and I was like, oh, look at those little grabbers. And like, I think they like fired back where they're like, they were talking like hands and feet were grabbers and steppers, and they're like, or if small, grabbies and steppies. Like, it's just in my head. It's in there. Really funny to me though. Anywho, okay. So, first of all, I want to start with this Three of Cups. I'm loving this between the 4th and the 5th house. Some of you like. This feels very celebratory in a really good way, right? Three of Cups is fun, celebration, socializing. It's also reunion, reconciliation, time with friends, soul tribe members. This feels really positive. So bordering the 4th and 5th house, excuse me, I'm feeling like a lot of you, I'm moving some stuff on my desk. I'm feeling like a lot of you are going to get some opportunity with friends this week. The first thing I heard is housewarming. So some of you are going to be either attending a housewarming party or throwing a housewarming party, and it's going to be just a ton of fun. If you get any kind of invitations from friends this week, I would say go for sure. And I feel like with this Two of Wands bordering the 11th and 12th house, some of you might be kind of on the fence. We will touch on that more later and how that applies. But I would say, you know yourself best. So don't push yourself to, beyond the point of your comfortable boundaries. But like, if you're on the fence, just go for it. I think this is what I'm hearing is this time is meant to be a gift. Because I feel like a lot of us have been sitting in some very heavy energy. And so this is a time where there's greater levity. Some of you might be getting invited over the next week to like Halloween theme parties, or like, like Dia de los Muertos, or like Samhain parties, things like that, or rituals. There's just like things regarding, that celebration, that All Hallows Eve celebration. However it is that manifests and that resonates with you. And I feel like you're either like going to be attending parties over the next week, or you're going to start getting a lot of invites, and this is going to like start to fill up your social calendar really quick, and that's going to be really positive. Like I said, for some of you, this is a housewarming party. For some of you, you are like, you're being invited to go celebrate with friends, and this is like either you're getting invited to like a couple's dinner, or like if one of your friends has started dating somebody and they want you to meet them, that could be happening this week. And I say that because it borders the 5th house, and the 5th house can deal with romance. For some of you as well, I feel like you're getting, okay, so this is a call for some of you to get out of your house. Get out of your house. I know it's a really cozy time of year, but you're being encouraged to get out of your house and go seek out something that you really like with the 5th house. This could be a hobby. This could be, like I said, you're going to parties. You're, going to events. It's just something that like sparks your passion. You get really excited about. And in doing so, you might really meet some new friends, possibly even some soul tribe members, but it's just a lot of fun, right? You're really having a good time. And for some of you, there might be something where some friends come back into town, or you go back to your hometown and you get to like connect with your friends, and it's kind of like you're having a little bit of a reunion. And I do see that here, right? Especially for these friends that are like family to you. Some of you might be moving in with some friends, or you make an agreement to be roommates. Like you're like, okay, let's do this. And this is like you go out to celebrate. So this is just a really nice energy in and of itself. Like, wow, beautiful. Now, I want to talk about these two cards here. So with the Two of Cups reversed, reverse-ish, bordering the 8th and 9th house, there has been some type of ending to, or like at least like a significant pause, if not a full-on ending. I almost said abrupt ending, so for some of you that will apply. And this can be the dissolution of a work contract. This could be something where, this could be in a significant relationship. But there's something where this has, for many of you, this is either full on ended, or because, like I said, it was kind of somewhere in between. This looks like it's on its last leg. You might be contemplating ending this. And I say this because of this Queen of Wands on her side bordering the 9th and 10th house. So the thing I want to kind of comment on is the 9th house is usually ruled by Sagittarius. I also want to mention Queen of Wands, fire energy, so Aries, Leo, Sag. But the 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius, and this is really, the house that talks about expansion, travel, higher learning, higher philosophy, higher spirituality, right? It's all about just like getting a bird's eye perspective on the human experience and kind of stepping back a little bit to gain some further perspective. And in that process, you can learn a lot. And kind of like gain a lot of spiritual knowledge and wisdom, or that's where the wisdom is. It's not usually so zoomed in, like tied to the situation itself, but it's what it produces for us, what insight it brings to us, right? So for a lot of you, I feel like with this right here, bordering the 9th and 10th house, with the Queen of Wands, you're at this height of power, and you might be very aware of this. With the Black Cat, you might be just like very intuitively aware of this, but you're taking this step back. A lot of you are, because you're in your power, or you're really approaching, again, the height of your power, the pinnacle of your power. You might be approaching, it's like you're manifesting. They're showing me like a giant comet or like an asteroid hitting the earth, like the kind of like knocking off the dinosaurs kind of, knocking off the dinosaurs kind of thing. Like you're about to manifest something really big for yourself over the coming year. And so for a lot of you, this week is going to be a time where, and this might be an ongoing thing, you've been doing this, this doesn't have to just be contained to this week, but this week is going to be a time where you're really taking a step back, and you're zooming out, and you're looking at what you want for your life, particularly with the 10th house, either in matters of career, or just like, the 10th house is our statusy and our status and our legacy. Oh, I was close, you guys. And yet so far. But yeah, our status and our legacy, it's what we create for ourselves in this lifetime. And it's how we will be known. It's what we will leave behind. And this is why it is, kind of a career house, but it's also so much more than that. And so for a lot of you, the Queen of Wands, she can really be a pistol. She can be a legend in her own right. And a lot of you are kind of like stepping into that. You are claiming that as your own more and more. You're getting more confidence in yourself, in your magic, in your manifestations, in your journey. You're just kind of like really settling in here, right? Like they're showing me somebody kind of like settling into their throne, like, okay, I'm ready. Like you're really ready to take the throne, take the stage. This is your time. The reign of you, it has officially begun, kind of an energy. And I feel like, not saying that you were not powerful before, but there's like a new level here. And I feel like a lot of you are very aware of this in some form or another. So this week is going to be a time where, I feel like because she's on her side and it's bordering the 9th and 10th house, you're kind of zooming out and you're saying, okay, what have I really manifested for myself? And is this what I want, right? Because coupled with this 2 of Cups, again, mostly reversed, bordering the 8th and 9th house, there has been a major shift, or a major shift is taking place, right? Like I said, because it was kind of like this, for some of you, this is still, it was like that. This is like technically mostly reversed, but for some of you, this is something where you're thinking about ending a partnership or a contract or a situation in your life and you're not sure yet. For some of you, this has already ended, whether you ended it or not. And the thing is like whether you're contemplating ending something or whether it has ended and you're thinking about it, you're gaining more perspective this week because you're sitting down. This has prompted you to really ask yourself, because I feel like for a lot of you, especially if this was something that with this kind of, Sagittarian 9th house energy, if this was something that was like divine timing, because they're showing me the Wheel of Fortune right now. If this was something where it was divine timing and it was kind of like, or, divine order, and it was taken, like it ended and it was beyond your control. I feel like if that was the situation, this is a week where you're really like, okay, I understand and I trust that Spirit wouldn't have taken this out of my life if that wasn't necessary to my growth. That wasn't part of the plan. Because if this was ended prematurely, or this was ended, or what felt like prematurely, this was ended, like if you didn't end this wasn't on your terms, I feel like it was very hard for you to accept. Now, for those of you where you're still contemplating whether or not you want to end this, or you have ended it, I feel like you're gaining more perspective, right? So you're kind of looking at this situation again, and you're like, okay, well, what does this bring to my life? Is this really what I want to build, right? Because there's this thing where I feel like a lot of you are kind of switching from survival mode into like building and growth, right? And especially if you've been doing a lot of, transformative work with the 8th house, a lot of inner work. There's something here where it's like a lot of you are kind of like taking, like I said, your power to the next level. And instead of having to focus on, how do I get through, or how do I make the most of this, week, this month, the rest of this year, you're thinking more like you're zooming out, you're thinking more long term. So it's really saying like, okay, this partnership, worked for the time, or this has been working up until now, but it's like, I feel like a lot of you intuitively understand that the moves you're gonna be making, especially over the next year, are gonna really dictate your experience for, I'm hearing like the next 10 years almost, like are gonna dictate your experience for the next decade. So a lot of you are reevaluating certain things in your life and saying, okay, is this good for me for a season, or is this good for me for a lifetime? Is this, person, this job, this habit, this belief, this friendship, whatever it might be, is this, no matter how much I have loved it or I do love it, is this part of my legacy? Is this a central facet of my legacy? Because I feel like a lot of you guys are really making important decisions and making cuts, because it's all about where your energy goes, right? A lot of you may have been going through cycles where things that drain your energy vampires in your life, etc., or have been like revealed to you, or those situations have been taken out of your life to show you how much they were kind of like pulling on your energy, right? So a lot of you have been getting exposed to where this energy drain is in your life, or where these energy drains are. And as a result, I feel like whatever this specific situation is, it's going to be different for everyone. Pardon my burp. There's something where it's like, excuse me, you're really kind of like taking a second look, especially with the 8th house too. Some of you may have finished up some very significant soul contracts or karmic contracts, right? The 8th house can talk about karmic debts and really intense soul contracts. So things that, we will keep coming up for us. We can't get away from it until we have completed the lessons, completed the soul contract. Like, it is inescapable, essentially. So if you have any planets in your 8th house, that might kind of, be a little clue as to where this might be playing out at its most potent for you. But for some of you, I do see that you finished up a karmic contract or like a really big soul contract. And now that you are essentially, and this feels like huge, like you may have been battling this your entire life. This may have been, kind of like the dominant challenge for you for the last 10 years. And now you've freed yourself. But this definitely has that feeling of like a karmic weight has been lifted. And now, instead of having to figure out, can I make it the next step? Can I make it to the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year, and just focusing on like what's right ahead of you, you have so many more options. It's like, if any of you ever live in snowy climates, like it's like when you have to drive in a blizzard, you are looking at, you are focusing on, let me make sure that I can keep driving the next 5 feet ahead of me, which if you haven't had to drive in a blizzard, congratulations. Tell me what that's like. But it's like you're really focused on like, I'm just gonna keep my eyes laser focused on the 5 feet ahead of me, and that's all I'm gonna worry about for the most part here. Like that's where my focus is. I'm just gonna do that. And you don't think about, looking down the road. You don't think about how long of a trip you have left. Like, I think there's an altered state of consciousness that comes along with driving in a blizzard, I think, where you just accept, you're like, I'm gonna be in the car forever. It takes as long as it takes. And that's your focus, because your focus in that moment is to arrive safely, right? It's to survive. You're not going on a joyride. You're not noticing the scenery. You're not thinking about 10 miles down the road. And this is like going from driving in a blizzard, because especially they're showing me driving in a blizzard at night, which is a special picnic. That's a picnic without a blanket. But like they're showing me driving in a blizzard at night versus driving on the open, like scenic highways with like the entire horizon ahead of you, and it's like brightly lit and like you can see everything. This is just like a totally different experience, and I think you guys are transitioning into this new phase of your life over time. But this week is going to be really time to contemplate one thing in particular, one relationship or area of your life, a job, whatever this might be. And I do feel like it will be different for everybody, so I'm not feeling called to pull a clarifier. But for some of you, this is absolutely it. You're really looking at what you've poured your heart and soul into. And I think that you're looking at it from a more, like I said, a more zoomed out perspective, where it's really about like, okay, this makes me happy right now, or this has made me happy, but is this the story I want to tell for the next decade? Is this where I want to put my manifestation power? Is this going to help me or hinder me, right? You're asking those important questions this week. And then we have this Two of Wands bordering the 11th and 12th house. So for some of you, I did mention this was connected to this sort of situation. If you're on the fence, for some of you, with the 11th and 12th house showing up, and the Two of Wands, you've been in planning mode for a really long time on something, and you need a break. And for some of you, you've been in planning mode and you've been doing it all by yourself, and this might be a comfort zone for you. You might like to work alone, or you might just feel like you can't share it with anyone. And the reason why it's been hard for you to move forward, or it's been hard for you to get, that inspiration, that break, that kind of like epiphany, that aha moment, is because you're going around in circles in your own mind, right? There's something here, especially with that 12th house energy, where you're missing something. And what you're being encouraged to do is kind of put down whatever it is that you're planning, put it down for now and go have fun. Because connecting, the 11th house to me can also talk about your soul tribe. So connecting with soul tribe, connecting with people who bring you a lot of joy, connecting over things that, bring you a sense of passion and inspiration might kind of help unlock that missing piece of information that you need in order to move forward. You may also, if you're kind of like, let's say you're going to a group that is centered around a hobby you like, and you meet people there that you get along with, these might be soul tribe members that you're coming into contact with, and these will be important people in helping you move forward with a project or with your vision. So for some of you, those two are related. Now, for those of you where that's not the case, and this isn't really about encouraging you to go socialize, this Two of Wands bordering the 11th and 12th house, this is kind of where, what I'm kind of getting here is this is where you're trying to make something happen. You're trying to make this kind of like vision come to life. And what I kind of feel like you're being encouraged to do is remain open to, like, this feels like you're stuck with something, right? The 12th house can be kind of going in circles sometimes, or like a lot of illusions. And I feel like you're kind of hitting a point where you're kind of thinking about it in a really like singular context. So maybe like this is just something where you're going in circles and you're like, I don't know how to solve this one problem, or the idea is just not coming to you, or you have like one idea and then it's like, I'm almost saying like a bottleneck kind of thing. So like if you're making a plan, if you're trying to plan out a project, it's like I do A, then B, then C, but I can't do B because I don't have this thing, or I can't do B because XYZ, right? When in reality, there are many ways you could do it. You could do, A, then C, then B. You could do C, then B, then A, right? Like there's something here where it's like there's multiple options here, but I feel like you might be so tunnel visioned that you're just not seeing it and you're kind of chasing your own tail. So for those of you where you're really trying hard to make your plans, plan your next steps, it would help this, okay, so for this week, if you're really like, for some of you, you just need to put it down for this week, but for others, it's kind of like this energy of, to bring in more options, right? So either do some creative kind of, problem solving, do some daydreaming, do some brainstorming, right? This is like, I feel like this is kind of this energy of you guys might be very sequentially like, like do one thing follows the other. And this has this energy of like, even if it sounds ridiculous and it's like not viable, write it down. Write down everything you can think of, because there's a nugget of wisdom in there that you might otherwise be missing. This is also a call to not be afraid to ask people you trust for advice, to bounce ideas off them, especially if you've been keeping this, playing your cards close to the vest. I wouldn't say tell it to everybody, but the people you trust. Yes, because the 11th house can talk about it does talk about wishes coming true and the people who help us expand into the next and, greater version of ourselves, right? Help us rise to the occasion, help us meet our power at a higher level than we have previously. So for some of you, there are going to be other people involved in this who are like, yes, I believe in you. What can I do to help? And they're going to be really good people to do like a brainstorming session with. But there's something here where it does feel like the way you've been handling it is like, going around in circles. So kind of thinking outside the box, again, like let yourself daydream. This is where you can kind of, you know, just have this free flow of ideas. For some of you, automatic writing is going to be really helpful. I'm almost seeing too, like for some of you, like write down everything you can think of into like onto little strips of paper and put them in like a bowl or something, and then just like pull 3 out at random, right? So like let's say you wanted to make an art project, right? And you're like, oh, I kind of know I want it to have this aesthetic, or I kind of know I want to work in this medium, but I don't really know how else to do XYZ, or like I'm not feeling inspired. It's like write down everything you could possibly want to do and like write them all down on a little piece of paper and put them in a bowl, and then just pick some at random. And even if it's not something that sounds like it would work, try it, see what happens, because there's something about like playing around. The energy here feels a little rigid, a little stuck. And so just kind of like becoming a little more fluid with it. And this is also, you know, 12th house can talk about that Piscean energy. So this is where you might find divine inspiration, either through letting yourself be more fluid and kind of play a little bit, or through asking trusted friends or collaborators to sort of like help you plan out your vision, whether, you know, it's creative or not, to kind of like help you take the next step. So don't be afraid to share that information with people that you trust. Ow. So I think that's just about everything that I have for you guys for this week ahead. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for being here. I love getting to read for you, and I hope I get to again in the future. Take care, my sweet little love bugs. Have a safe, happy, healthy week. Bye.